Alright, hello there. This is part 2 of the #1 contenders match for the Combatants Championship. So the score right now is all tied up 1-1, and we're getting ready to get started with the third bout of this contest. As you already know, it's still on the hardest difficulty. And let's get, well, let me make sure right quick. Alright, it's definitely on the hardest difficulty. Now we can get started. Enjoy the next match. Or bout, whatever. Alright, Pyramida, congrats to him, man. He won, and I believe that was the second round. Yep, second round at 2 minutes and 37 seconds. Congrats to him. He won on points. He got all 10 points taken away from his opponent. And that moves his team to a lead of now 2-1. The red team is in the lead. Coming up will be the next match. Can Pyramida win 2 matches in a row? We're about to find out. Go to the ring. final round of this very entertaining match. Enjoy. Wow, man. I guess that was his go-to move for finishing matches, that running clothesline kept on doing, but that's useless in the freaking MMA division if you don't have the lead for one reason. It does not do knockdown damage or blood damage. You know, when your running attack doesn't do knockdown or blood damage, it's kind of useless to keep on going for it, especially if you're in this sort of match where you're down on points. And I do believe if he had kept on going for that, he could possibly get the submission victory, because Kiramada's legs was injured like a mug, but like that's what happens when your freaking go-to move to end a match is something that's not viable in the type of match you're in. Now, if this is a PW match or a freaking absolute match from one of those divisions, then yeah, that'll be a good move to use. Or the faction of 3. But in the other ones, not really. I don't really think so. And the double team, only way you're gonna hit moves like that from off the rope is let your opponent is battling out with the other guy on the other side of the screen, or the other two, your teammate and his teammate are focused on each other. Because if you and your teammate are focused on one person, he may grab him as you're trying to do your running attack. But yeah, anyway, on to the next one. That was the 4th bout? Yeah, that was the 4th bout. We're on to the 5th one. Enjoy. And this is messed up because now this guy is going to have to try to, Yuki is going to have to try to beat 3 people in a row, man. Well, he should be able to at least get Akira Maeda out of there very quickly, because Akira Maeda is not only bleeding, but he also has his leg that was super damaged. His teammate did a great job, but the thing is, when your team is down on points, your main goal is to finish the match. And he would just wasn't trying to, what he was going for didn't allow him to get any more points. So like, it's all for naught. It was a waste of time, to say the very least. He did more damage, but like, your teammate don't need you to do damage. Your teammate need you to get eliminations, or he won't have to even go through a match with him. Because Akira Maeda can still possibly win this match, but the main thing he can do is, if he can counter one of his punches, he can hit him with that headbutt that does blood damage, or that rolling kick he does also does blood damage. So the main thing I'm looking for Akira Maeda in this match is to possibly do some type of blood damage or something before he gets taken out. I don't think he's gonna be in this match long enough to do any real significant damage as far as like injuring a body part, his head, his arm, his body, or legs. See? Because he already took a ton of punishment, but good for him, man. Akira Maeda, he took out what? I believe he took out 3 of his teammates. I'm not sure. Or 2. Yeah. He took it out. Yeah, he took out 3 people. See? He went through 3 people. And then he got finished because, he was exhausted and like he pretty much was done for. His head was hurt, his leg was hurt, and he was bleeding. And good thing for Yuki, because Yuki, he still got to go through 2 people, so good thing he was able to finish that pretty early. Because after this, if he's able to get past Antonio Inoki, he's going to still have to deal with, devastation at the very end. You know what, we're actually going to pause this right here because this shit is coming up on 27 minutes. So this will be 3 parts. And these will be the last 2 matches for Yuki. Yuki is currently, we're at 3 minutes in. And he's going to be going against Antonio Inoki. And if he's able to get past him, he's also going to have to go against Devastation. So we're just going to end it right here. I should have been looking at the time. We was already at over 25 minutes, and chance of this lasting for like 2 or 3 minutes is not high, and the same thing goes for the Devastation match. So we're just going to end it right here real quick. So yeah, hope you enjoy. Part 3 will be coming up soon, and to the next one later.